Lewis Blackstock and Paddy Rosney on the DHR Yamaha. Dave Holden Racing, a long time supporter of this class, and sidecars are always very colourful, very entertaining. Snetterton is a fantastic track which lends itself to sidecar racing of the highest order. Red flag moves away, look to the left, top of your screen, you'll see the red lights come in, red lights are in and on, and they are off. Lewis Blackstock straight away, that clutch bites and it really flies away. This is a carbon copy of what he did, and this is a carbon copy too of Sam and Jack Laidlow moving out, but there's no way through, no room at the inn, because rocketing into second place goes Kershaw. Laidlow through, and that is George Holden, Oscar Lawrence. George Holden, Oscar Lawrence on the Kawasaki in third, Rob Biggs in fifth. Race leaders though, Blackstock and Rosney, Kershaw and Charwood tucked in. So now we've got 5 meaningful laps of really close action.
And it's going to be fast, Barry. I mean, a classically vintage start from Blackstock and Rosney there, fast away at the front. Last year we saw Kershaw and Laidlow's up to third there at the inside of George Holden and Oscar Lawrence. Fantastic move. They just moved a little bit away from the apex on the entry there, and it opened the door perfectly. But look at this, coming back.
Yeah, they will. Oscar
that
Lawrence
would have been a brave move through there. It's not the easiest to overtake through, where is that? Through Hamilton's there.
Rob Biggs, Ferry Sagers right there in fifth. Through go the Hawkswells and that little Suzuki right at the back. But let's have a look. This is at the front. Now, Kershaw has not won a race. Laidlow has taken 3 wins in this class. Blackstock has taken 3 wins. Kershaw 1 second and 3 thirds. So he's been the bridesmaid, but not the bride. Is he going to get married this weekend? I wonder. He needs to get right on the back of Lewis Blackstock and Paddy Rosney, who are trailing the guys in third place, the 84 crew in the championship, by 12.5 points. And still, George Holden and Oscar Lawrence have not given up the chase on the back of Sam and Jack Laidlow. And it's fair to say that the Laidlow brothers, relatively new, 2 seasons really, and at the point they started, they didn't even know which one was going to drive the outfit. They hadn't made their minds up.
They didn't. I believe Jack actually started on the bars and Sam was on the chair. Now obviously they've reversed. Sam a little bit quicker than Jack, but hell of a passenger is Jack. Incredible work. And just what we're talking about with Laidlow's. Yesterday in the first race, Barry, on the first lap and a half, we saw Laidlow's dropping back a little bit from the front of the cup class and away from the leaders. They actually had a pressure leak on the front tyre, down to 4 psi by the time they got back to the paddock.
That's what we saw them fiddling with. We saw them fiddling with something. Now look at this, the Kirby boys and John Holden having a look, jump the inside. John Holden, Clement Cornell. That was a really good looking move there, but they were going hard at the ARS bike of the Kirby boys, Paul and Tom Kirby, number 27. They are cup class, strong championship, and they are just there. There's a real battle, 0.3 of a second splitting them at the moment. There are those 2 outfits. There's the Kirby, the green, the black, the yellow, or the turquoise, the black, the yellow, and then John Holden and Clement Cornell respectfully dropping back a little bit, but they're going to recharge their batteries and have another go, I think. Ahead of them, it's Biggs and Ferry Sagers. So we have a Dutch passenger on with Rob Biggs, we have a French passenger on with John Holden, and we have a passenger from Gloucester on there with Paul Kirby. Very enthusiastic, very inspiring, and a good pair. But look at the battle at the front. Blackstock and Rosney, not letting them get away. Steve Kershaw's got to find something here, and he's going to have to do it, I think, in the braking zone.
I think he's going to have to. They're fast on the speed traps, we can see on the timing screen, Barry, but the sector times go in the way of Lewis Blackstock and Paddy Rosney at the minute, so it's going to be a tight one, that's for sure. It's rinse and repeat for Steve Kershaw, Ryan Charwood. Last year they were in this position, they were following Todd Ellis and Manuel Clement, our eventual British champions last year, and it's kind of a rinse and repeat, similar situation. Very fast crews out front though, both of these guys.
Well, experienced World Championship runners, Kershaw and Charwood, not able to find the budget this year, so they're here in the British Championship. The World Championship's loss is the British Championship's good fortune. It's good to see Steve Kershaw here, a former British champion, of course, and he is looking, you can see the black outfit. Anybody out there with a great big checkbook wants their name emblazoned on the side of that, get in touch with Steve Kershaw, I'm sure he'd appreciate it. His big sponsor departed the scene this year, so he's on a tighter budget, and his loss is our gain.
This is fantastic. And what a brilliant position we find ourselves in, Barry, to have this world-class talent running around at the front of the field at a national level. Both of these guys can do fantastic things on the world stage, the Isle of Man TT, and here comes Kershaw setting up a move.
He's having a look.
He's committed.
He's through on the inside, and that's a good tight one. He's grabbed the lead. So Steve Kershaw and Ryan Charwood now leading Blackstock and Rosny, but we're on lap 3 of 5. It's a short, sharp race. The wheel in the air, the sidecar wheel pawing the air, with Paddy Rosny doing his utmost over the back now to get the drive down. So Lewis Blackstock now in second place. New race leader, Kershaw and Charwood. Out they come.
That's a respectable sized gap. Kershaw and Charwood have opened out already.
Yeah, they certainly have.
Nothing to say of any problem for Blackstock and Rosny, but just a hard middle sector of a hard charged middle sector for Kershaw and Charwood. They're fantastic.
Down the back they come. Into Brundle. Brundle through, and through go Laidlows. Through goes Rob Biggs. Nelson, the right-hander, coming up, then through the bomb hole and into Cora. They're at Nelson now. And then the bomb hole awaits the right-hander, and they're all at the bomb hole. There's a 4-outfit scrap here. And that is Kevin Cable and Charlie Richardson. The 111 outfit behind Paul and Tom Kirby. Holden has got his way past Kirby. He's now on the back of Rob Biggs. So John Holden, vastly experienced TT winner, on the back of Rob Biggs, the number 5 crew. Rob Biggs, Ferry Sagers on the Express tyres. Yamaha. And up the straight they go towards a double apex right-hander of riches. John Holden knows his way around Snetterton. He's been here. We're on the penultimate lap. And Kershaw and Charwood have put the fastest lap in, 1:59.21. Well, that compares reasonably well with qualifying. 1:59.099 was the pole position time, but the lap record here held by Benetton Birchall, 1:56.894, set in 2021. So still a bit shy of what the Birchalls did. The conditions are good, but now can John Holden go one step further up the ladder? He's on the back now of Rob Biggs. You would not bet against it, would you?
He's hungry. You can see it everywhere he's looking. Second half of the lap, Holden and Clermont Cornell there on the number 2 outfit, the white and blue that we see there behind. They look very strong in the second half of this lap, so I keep an eye out for a move later on in this lap here.
Well, Paul Kirby conceded. This is the battle back at the front. Race leaders Steve Kershaw and Lewis Blackstock. Kershaw then now 0.68 of a second. So that gap is visible now. It's about 10 machine lengths. Through they go. Flicking round and now back. And out at the bomb hole and then away round Coram. Coram, big sweeping bend. Down to the chicane for the last time. The left-hander, the tight left-hander, not chicane, the tight left-hander of Murray's. And now one more lap, so 2.97 miles of the Snetterton circuit lies ahead of Steve Kershaw and Ryan Charwood. And the gap over the line this time, 0.8. So they're away. Looks like they're away, and that is an absolute flyer.
Just a quick shout out to Rob Atkinson, Josh Smith, Barry. Currently circulating 9th place overall, 3rd place in the Cup. They've been absolutely phenomenal this year. New to the long chassis. They came off the F2, reigning F2 champions in this British Championship last year. Absolutely sensational. And there they are on screen as we speak. Thank you very much, Director.
That's good. Rob Atkinson on the RAF bike. They operate out of Oxfordshire area. That's where they come from, and a really, really good job they've done. Farringdon, Oxfordshire, sort of Berkshire border. On the final lap then, Rob Atkinson, young Josh Smith.
Their consistency this season as well, Barry, is absolutely showing off so far in the championship stands. 4th place in the Cup. Points. That's all they're doing, picking up solid points, solid results. Consistency is absolutely key for those two lads there.
Well, that's what it takes. Steve Kershaw and Ryan Charwood now on their way to their debut victory in the championship this year, and that will help their standing. Came here 5th in the standings. They needed to do something about that, and they're doing it. They can't do any better than this. And we've got one more race on the programme today. I'm going to tempt fate, say weather permitting, that hopefully the weather will stay fair and we can get the entire programme away here at Snetterton with second Sidecar race, last race of the day. But if the conditions stay fair, then it's going to be another cracker. Steve Kershaw and Ryan Charwood on their way here to a well-worked victory. A well-worked victory. Blackstock and Rosny did everything they had to do, got it out of the trap, but here we are then. Into the closing stages, the sprint up the hill. Kershaw and Charwood then with the best, fastest lap, 158.978 last time. Over the line they go, checkered flag, victory for them. Blackstock and Rosny, second place, third place for Sam and Jack Laidlow. And they would have hoped to have done better in that, but they were 6.2 off the pace, not quite running at the speed. Fourth place for Holden and Lawrence. Over they go, Biggs and Sagers fought off that challenge. It was a close call though. John Holden was closing them down. The Kirbys, Cable and Richardson, Atkinson and Smith go over in 9th place, and 10th the Cup class second place men at the moment, Craig Clark and Peter Edser, rounding out the top 10, and there they go. And that was, I'm pleased to say, a short race, but a good race.
It was indeed.
Enjoyed that.
It was very good. I think on the last lap as well, Barry, that we just possibly off screen, there was maybe some contact between John Holden and Paul Kirby. Saw Tom Kirby coming out of Murray's, the final corner there, waving his arms around in what looked like displeasure. So some potential contact on that last lap. Everyone making it to the line, but possibly a little bit of rubbing of fiberglass.
Well, hopefully it's not handbags at lunchtime in the pit lane, and I'm sure that'll be fine. But there we are then. Victory here, the first victory in 2024 in the British Championship for Steve Kershaw from Lauder, and Ryan Charwood. Confirmation of that then. Kershaw, Charwood, and the gap, well, over a second at the end of it. Blackstock and Rosny, Laidlow, not only leading Cup, but overall championship leaders. But Blackstock and Rosny will eat into their lead. Holden and Lawrence, Biggs and Sagers, Holden and Clement Cornell ahead of the Kirbys. So you can see the Cup runners there, all the green ones. So 1, 2, 3 in the Cup are Laidlow, Kirby, and Atkinson. Brilliant for them. Great result. Cable and Richardson in 8th place. 15 finishers. The Life Safety Motorsport, they're the sponsor of the round this weekend. Life Safety Systems, British Sidecar, race 1 result went victory to Kershaw and Charwood. What's that done to the table? Kershaw still in 5th place, but closing. Laidlow's, they're only 10.5 now clear of Blackstock. George Holden, Oscar Lawrence holding that third, but Biggs, well, he's there. He's in touch. That's the main thing. Kershaw still 5th, Kirby's in 6th. What a great race. Enjoyed that. Short but sharp, but the weather's fair, and we cannot wait for the next one. Further down the order, you can see the standings. Williams not here. That's a shame. Crow's not here. Mick Bell not here. 1 or 2 non-starters. There's an event on in the Isle of Man called the Southern 100.